Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you again for the second time on Tuesday. Yes, I know I did a video this morning looking back at the Palace game, but thought I'd best do another one this afternoon because of big news that Arsenal have now announced regarding injuries, and it is not great news. So I thought I'd pop on here, sort of go over what I know about the situation. We'll start with Kieran Tierney, who has been ruled out for the season. Arsenal haven't officially done it. They say that it's likely he will miss the remainder of the season, but he will miss the remainder of the season. There's no chance he's going to play again this season. Arsenal, from my understanding, are sort of penciling in him to potentially return for the start of pre-season training, which is in July. So, you're looking at many months out here for Kieran Tierney. Scotland do play they're scheduled to play their World Cup qualifying playoff against Ukraine in June. It doesn't look like he'll be at all available for that either. So real bad news for Kieran Tierney, terrible news for Arsenal. Like I said, my understanding of the situation is that Arsenal are hoping that he will be back to sort of start pre-season training with everyone else in July. So that's the extent of his injury. He will undergo surgery later this week. I'll just read what Arsenal have had to say. This was their official news on it. Said Kieran felt discomfort after a training session on Thursday, March 31st. Further assessments and scans have confirmed that Kieran has damaged his left knee. Specialist consultation took place on Tuesday, and as a result, further discussions with Kieran and our medical team, it has been decided that Kieran requires surgery to his knee. This procedure will take place in London in the forthcoming days. Kieran rehabilitation program will start immediately after his surgery, at which stage a clearer understanding will be established of his recovery timescale. However, it's likely that Kieran will now miss the remainder of the season. Like I said, ignore that last bit. He will miss the remainder of the season. Now, again, my understanding of it, that he went away with Scotland and he was already feeling this injury. So I know a lot of people said, he's picked it up on international duty, but my understanding is that is not the case, and it was a problem that he'd been kind of playing through the pain barrier a little bit in the build up to the last international break. And once he got back from Scotland, he said to the Arsenal medical staff and coaching staff, look, it's not going away. I'm still feeling this issue in my knee. And they thought, okay, let's have a proper look at this now and see what's going on. They did all the scans, and everyone got together after looking at those scans, and now they've come up to this conclusion that he had to, unfortunately, go under the knife and have surgery, and that will take place this week. Like I said, now we're looking at Tierney not being back available, hopefully, for pre-season. My understanding, again, is that this isn't a cruciate ligament injury in his left knee, and if that is the case, which is what I have been told, but again, I'll have to wait for it to be totally confirmed, but my understanding is it's not a cruciate ligament, is that, if it was, you're potentially looking at up to a year out for Kieran Tierney, but I don't think it's that serious as far as what I've been told. So it could just be, looking at sort of 4 months, something like that, which is still obviously a significant injury, and it's a real blow to Arsenal, and it's a real blow to Kieran Tierney, given what's at stake for club and country in the coming months. But hopefully he will be available for the start of the season, and he will be available if Scotland get to the World Cup, and that will be good news for him. So that's the latest when it comes to Kieran Tierney. Obviously, big blow, given, as I said in the video earlier on today, given what's going on with Nuno Tavares at the moment and his sort of crisis of confidence that he's enduring. It does beg the question about what exactly Arteta's going to do when it comes to left back. Do you stick with Nuno Tavares, or do you look to sort of shift people around and play people out of position to cope? Granit Xhaka, makeshift left back. I don't think that's the wise move. I think you certainly stick with Tavares, at least for Brighton. Tavares showed earlier in the season, he can do a decent job. He can be a good player. He's obviously, confidence is very low, as anyone would be. He's just been hooked before the second half, 2 games in a row that he started now, Nottingham Forest and again last night. But I think you still try and persist with him and get him back into that form he showed at the start of the season, when he was, causing teams all sorts of problems down there, and was, keeping Tierney out the side initially when Tierney got back from his first injury. So that's the latest on Kieran. The latest on Thomas Partey. Arsenal's official comment on Thomas is that Thomas is currently being assessed ahead of the weekend after aggravating his thigh against Monday night's match at Crystal Palace. that's kind of the standard line Arsenal trot out when it comes to some players who they're not sure about the injury yet. They're still awaiting further news on Thomas Partey. He will be undergoing scans. He probably has already undergone a scan today, because I think that was happening today. People sort of close to the player were hoping that by the end of today they would know more about exactly what's going on with Thomas. But I think he's not going to be available for Saturday. I'd be very, very surprised. Someone I spoke to earlier said that, it's very unlikely he's going to be available for Saturday. And I think even beyond that, I'd be surprised. We all know how long it took Thomas to get back from his last thigh injury. And if the ones are anywhere near as bad, then you're looking at potentially weeks out rather than just potentially Saturday. Arsenal play Brighton Saturday, and then they don't have a game in midweek next week, but then it's Southampton on Saturday. And personally for me, I'd be very surprised, because you don't want to take any risks when it comes to thigh injury. We saw what happened with Thomas when he rushed back from the first injury, and he played in that North London derby against Spurs and that last season, and injured it again. So you don't want anything like that happening. So that's the latest on Thomas, is that they're still waiting to find out exactly what's going on. Scans, I believe, have been taking place today, and people at Arsenal, the doctors and people around Thomas Partey, are hoping to learn more potentially by the end of play this evening in terms of exactly how long he will be out of. I think Mikel Arteta's press conference is scheduled for Friday, although again that hasn't been confirmed. We'll get, you would imagine, more of an update on certainly Thomas's fitness from Arteta at that press conference ahead of the game against Brighton. Now, Arsenal have also released a statement about Takehiro Tomiyasu, who obviously we've barely even seen this year. He came back for that second leg of the Liverpool game in January, wasn't it, in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Clearly wasn't ready. Again, this is a thigh problem, same as Thomas Partey, and this is an example why you don't want to rush people back when they've got thigh issues, because it can really cause some problems. But Arsenal have now said in a statement online, Takehiro is making progress in his recovery from a muscle injury to his left calf, which he sustained in February. Takehiro had successfully recovered from a muscle injury sustained to his right calf in January. It is hoped Takehiro will be back in full training after the match at Southampton on Saturday, April the 16th. All other men's first team squad are currently fit and available for selection. So Tomiyasu back training, or hoping to be back training after the Southampton game. Now that's obviously nearly 2 weeks away now, and that again represents a big problem for Mikel Arteta in my mind, because yes, even if he's back in full training and technically available for selection after Southampton, given he's been out and he's played one game in 2022, I think it is, you don't then just throw him straight back into the games against Chelsea and Manchester United the following week, do you? So although technically you're looking at, Tomiyasu back in 2 weeks, it's really further than that, because you'd have to just, you've got to build him up. You can't just throw him in against United or Chelsea. So you're looking at least 3 weeks really for Tomiyasu as well, and then you're almost, knocking on the door of the Spurs game. So it's it's worrying, no doubt about it. It's come at a real bad time, this injury crisis, and Mikel Arteta could have done without it. I know a lot of people on my timeline on social media have been going, "Oh, this is getting us back for not doing more in January." But I mean, it's an easy thing to say, but I've got to say, when you look at these players, they're not really the players that the positions that Arsenal were looking to strengthen in January, or that fans were hoping the club might strengthen in January. It was all about the forwards, wasn't it? I think left back, not really something that anyone was expecting Arsenal to do in January. Central midfield, maybe, but I think everyone expected that was going to be in the summer, and that Arsenal probably had enough to deal with that. And right back as well, you've got Cedric, you've got Tomiyasu. So I don't think it's really, you can really have a go at Arsenal for what they did in the January transfer window when it comes to these injuries. But it's just come at a bit, but there's no doubt that it's come as a real blow for Arsenal, for Mikel Arteta, and for the top four. But these things come to challenge you, and you've got to try and find a way of working around that. And like I said, Mikel Arteta's now got the rest of the week to really sort of think about exactly what he's going to do ahead of the Brighton game, and hopefully come up with something that means Arsenal can get back on form quickly, get the win against Brighton, and then really try and consolidate once again and go into what's going to be a really crucial run of games. So not the news I really wanted to bring you this afternoon, but that is the latest when it comes to Kieran Tierney, Thomas Partey and Takehiro Tomiyasu. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a very good rest of the day and evening. I'll speak to you soon.